Hey everybody, this is Rich Myers and welcome to the Rich Myers Podcast Show. With me today I got Jennifer Alvarado. What you been up to?
Oh goodness. Well, I've been touring quite a bit, playing gigs everywhere, and that kind of made it hard to get music out last year. So this year I've got two projects that are supposed to come out. I have a new single coming out next week, and then a special EP for Mental Health Month coming out in May. And then I'm also in the studio working on another project that should be out before the end of the year.
Okay. I listened to your track, something
Yeah.
about a boy.
Mm-hmm.
Thought it was really good. What
Thank you.
influenced it?
Actually, it's a very personal song. It's one that I wrote about an old relationship, kind of modeled it after an old relationship that, you never forget that person that you first cared about and first loved and thought that it was gonna be forever, and then your heart got broke, and so that's sort of what it was modeled after. The storyline in the song is a little bit more complex as far as I kind of see it as they got married and it just didn't work. But yeah, it's definitely a story about an old relationship.
Okay, we're gonna take a listen to it.
Okay.
She was 18, following her dreams, falling for a boy who couldn't quite seem to get to where he was going. Everyone told her to tell him goodbye. Don't look back, you need to live your life. But her heart felt something. Seasons go and seasons change, but one thing always stays the same. First love, tell your heart back. Doesn't make sense, but you think you know right. Can't sleep, find it hard to breathe. Lose on track of time, makes you weak in your knees. Then one day you can find the sparkle in his eye. Oh, there's something about a boy, something about a boy. 4 years of putting him first. Every word he said hurt a little worse. She stopped dreaming. Never enough to make things right, and never strong enough to tell him goodbye. Until one night the truth was glaring.
different than that catfish song that we had last time.
Yes, it is much different.
What can you tell me about upcoming songs, concerts, and what's next?
Yeah, so obviously this one comes out next Friday. And it's a single off of a project that I'm working on that's a little bit more, I would say, 90s country style. I wanted to go back to sort of what I fell in love with songwriting and just music wise, and that was really, the ladies of 90s country and that style. So this album's a little bit more, I guess, stripped back than Catfish was and that kind of stuff. But then also in May, I'm doing a project that was actually, it's a one-off project that I recorded up in Boston with Plaid Dog Records. And it was part of their talent artist search. And so it was actually all crowdfunded. And so I was able to crowdfund that, and that project's coming out May 2nd. It's called Lately. And it's all about my personal struggles that I've had with some mental health and stuff like that. But also, I've always been very active with Celebrate Recovery Ministry, and just the importance of sharing your testimony and how that can help somebody else in turn. And so that's really what that album is about. It's about telling your story, but also being there for somebody else.
Okay. What's the best gig you ever played?
I would probably say the Viper Room. I think that was the most, I guess, one of the bucket list items. So probably there. But honestly, I mean, even just small gigs. Like, I love gigs where I'm able to talk to the crowd and really be able to kind of share stories behind songs and stuff like that. And that's not always something you get to do, especially when, you're doing a gig that you're doing a lot of covers or whatever the case may be. So anytime I'm able to just kind of sit down and share stories, so sort of like listening room gigs, that kind of thing. One of my favorite places, or one of my favorites, was when I got to play the listening room in Pigeon Forge, and just that environment of being able to share songs for people that they come specifically to listen to songs. And you don't always have that with gigs.
Okay. What's the saddest song you ever heard?
Ever heard? I have no idea. I'm trying to think. Probably, I would say one song that comes to mind is probably Concrete Angel by Martina McBride. I think that song, just the story behind it and all of that, that's one of those songs. I will say one of the songs I used to cry to, like even as a kid, like I would just sit in my room and bawl my eyes out, was Richard Marx' Right Here Waiting for You. So, and I think it was more like the instrumentation in that song, and like there's a lot of minor chords, and I didn't understand as a kid like why it was emotional. So that was probably another one.
Okay. Where can people go and see your videos, music, and events?
Yeah, so first place I would say is to go to my website. It's jenniferalvarado.com. You'll have links to all my socials on there, all of that. But you can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. All of that's at Jennifer Alvarado Music.
Okay. If it wasn't for music, what would you be doing for right now?
One of two things. So before I went into full-time ministry in music, I was a paralegal. And my plan was I was going to law school. So probably law. I'm going to say probably law. The other thing too is if I wasn't doing music, I probably would be doing something with a nonprofit. I worked for a nonprofit for a while called Safe Harbor, and it basically is for women in recovery and also those experiencing homelessness. And so I helped out with the community center. And so every morning we would go get the ladies at the Salvation Army, bring them to the center to be able to work on resumes, work on job interviews, getting registration documents, all that kind of stuff that so many, when you're experiencing homelessness, you don't have access to those things. And so it was kind of a one-stop shop of what needs do you have and how can we serve you?
Okay. Well, thanks for being on the show today. I
Yeah,
really
of course.
enjoyed having you.
Thank you for having me back.